Got a really exciting video today. I'm looking forward to making it. It's pretty cool stuff here. This is a build we made for a client a while back, and it just kind of crossed my mind to make a video about it. So I thought it'd be cool. Basically, what we're gonna do is create automatic invoices and PDFs, things like that. So we're using n8n and Doppio. It's called. It basically Doppio. It generates PDFs automatically, things like that. So we're gonna implement it into n8n, as you can see here in the workflow right here, and we're gonna watch it work. So, like I said, we built this a while back for a client who wanted to automate invoice generation. So that's what I'm gonna show you specifically today. You can really make it do anything as long as it's a PDF. You know what I mean? A document. It's a relatively simple workflow to build. I'm gonna show you kind of how it works, and then we're gonna go node by node, step by step, and I'm gonna show you how to actually do it yourself. You can see here it's triggered by a Google Sheet, which I'm about to show you. It codes kind of the format, the layout, all the information. Then it triggers Doppio to actually build the invoice, and then puts it all together, and it sends it to both the customer, and it notifies the owner when an invoice is sent. And then your Google Sheet, the same one that triggered the workflow initially, is updated. Just to give you an idea of, kind of how the workflow is triggered and how it starts. This is the Google Sheet that I made that's connected here to n8n. It's called, I just call it, you can call it anything. I called it invoice generation just for the sake of the demo and the build that we previously made. So it's really simple. I mean, you put in your customer information, quote information, job type, stuff like that. I just, for the sake of the example in the video, I just pretend we're a plumber, just so you kind of get an idea of how it would look for a small business. Put in all my information and whatnot. The big thing right here is the invoice status and number. So what's going to trigger the invoice, the Google Sheet trigger you saw in the workflow, it's looking for approved right here. So that's the implication, is that the business owner just puts all their information into the Google Sheet, depending on the customer. Obviously it varies. You got, like I said, quote amount, dates, information, and then all they have to do is type approved right there, and then everything's ready to go. What I did was I ran the workflow to check this Google Sheet every 30 minutes. So whenever said business owner updates it, the workflow is always constantly checking, and invoices are sent automatically, right? So the workflow is going to see approved. It's going to run it. It's going to generate the invoice. It's going to send it to both the customer and the owner, and then it's going to generate an invoice number, and the invoice status is going to change to sent. So I'm going to show you what it looks like from the beginning, and then, like I said, we're going to build it together. So I'll just execute the workflow. It's going to get triggered. Doppio is going to make the PDF. It's going to send it to both the email accounts that you wire up, and the sheet is going to be updated. So we'll go right back to the sheet. You can see invoice number, and the invoice status was updated to sent. So here I have my Gmail. So I'm going to show you what this looks like. Got two emails, obviously one from each. I just sent it both to the same email for the sake of the demo. We have first the invoice. You can see invoice number, goluda.ai, just for the sake of argument, like I said. Hi, David Simpson. Thank you for your business. Please find your invoice. All the information we inputted into that Google Sheet. Basic stuff, basic copy. This can all be updated and changed. Even the design. You can change the design if you want. We want pretty basic. Actually, as a matter of fact, here you see the actual invoice, the PDF it did generate. So the email is almost like a whole separate thing. But this is the invoice itself, the PDF itself that was generated. All the information here: address, email, phone number, to and from, the information, the actual job, a description, materials, all that stuff. It's whatever you want to put in there, right? It doesn't have to be this crazy, or you can add more if the business requires it. So really cool stuff. Couple notes, payment terms, whatever you want. Contact information. You can see the balance and stuff. I threw a little deposit in there just to show you what it would look like. And yeah, that's the invoice itself. And then we'll go back to this email that was sent to the owner. An invoice has been automatically generated and sent to your customer. Here's a full summary. So you have everything right here in your email. You're automatically updated, and yeah, really cool stuff. Very interesting, very sweet. So I'm excited to kind of break it down, how we build it. Little tips and tricks, things that you might get snagged on, stuff like that. It's really not difficult. There is some code nodes and stuff like that. You can see it looks a little scary, a lot going on. I don't code. I don't know how to code. I was able to do this, and if I can, you can. So I'm going to break it down for you. I'm also going to put a PDF in the description. This is important with all this stuff. So you're going to see literally what you're looking at on the screen here. You're going to see it in that PDF. You literally copy and paste it into n8n and let it work, right? So just, follow step by step, use the PDF with all the information you need, and you should have no problem setting this up. I'm going to show you how to get your credentials too for Google, Doppio as well. You'll need an API key. So yeah, let's jump right into it then. So obviously we're going to start by creating a workflow. I'm going to start from scratch. So we're doing it together. I'm just going to name it PDF generation. So the first step, of course, we're going to add our first node. It's going to be a Google Sheet trigger. So what I'm going to do is very simply type in Google Sheet here. We're going to do on row added or updated. So obviously when you add or update a row in that Google Sheet that we're going to attach, the workflow is going to scan that and it's going to update and send the PDF and get to work. So we're going to start with that. We have to add our credentials. I'm going to put a video on the screen on how to do that.
So you just head over to the website on the screen. You're going to create a new project. As you can see, that's what we're doing here. You can fill in the information here with anything. You can name the project whatever. The organization is kind of whatever pops up there. And then everything else will fill itself out. You create it. It's going to take a second to load here, as you can see. Once it's loaded, you're going to head over to OAuth consent screen. You're going to have to set this up one time and one time only if you haven't done this before. So you're going to go to app information. Once again, name it whatever you like. Do that. You can pick the email that you're using to make the account. For the audience, we're going to go external. Contact information, same deal. Just type in your email here. Whatever email you're using to do the Google console stuff, that's fine. You're going to hit finish. Obviously, accept the terms. We're going to create this. It'll take a second. Once that's done, we're good. We're going to go back to that same menu, APIs and services. Then we're going to go to credentials. So before we create a credential, you want to enable the Google Drive API so that n8n has access to your Google Drive. Hit enable there. It'll take a second. And then after this, we're going to do the same thing with Google Sheet, as you'll see in a second here. So Google Drive is now enabled. Same deal with Google Sheet. And like I said, this is simply so your n8n credentials have access to your Drive, your Sheets, etc. So pretty straightforward. We're almost done from here. Now we're going to create that credential. It's going to be an OAuth credential. So we're going to go, credentials there on the left side, create credential OAuth. And once again, you're going to have to fill in some information here. The application type is going to be a web application. Once again, name it whatever you like. And then we're going to go down to authorize redirect URIs. You'll find that back here in the Google Sheets trigger. If you click on your credential, you'll see the link you have to copy. It's just so n8n or Google is redirected to n8n sort of thing. So we'll paste that in there. We create it. And then you have your client ID and secret. You just paste that into the node and you're good to go.
So now that you have your credentials set up, you're going to have to create that Google Sheet. I'm not going to walk through that. It's very basic and simple. Call it whatever you want. Just make sure the account that you set up your credentials on for n8n, you're using that same account to make the Google Sheet. That way you can find the Google Sheet on n8n. So to my point, you just choose your document from this list. There's a drop down menu. You're going to see everything, all the Google Sheets you have on that account. I'm going to stick with the one I already made, invoice generation, and then you're going to have to choose the specific sheet within that sheet or the tab or whatever. You can see here I named it info, so you understand what I'm talking about. And here you're going to see info as well. So we're going to select info, and yeah, the trigger on is okay. Row added or updated. That's how we want it to be triggered, and include and output the new version. Basically, what we're going to create, right? The one thing I would change is the poll time. I would do probably what I did was every 30 minutes. I think that's just fine, honestly. You could do every hour, even every day if you're not super urgent in getting your invoices out. Obviously, you wanna get paid, and I'm speaking obviously on behalf of a business owner, but depending on your use case, this could vary. So For the sake of the video, we'll keep it simple. We'll do like we did in the original workflow, we'll do every 30 minutes. So, like I said, when you publish this, it's going to run check every 30 minutes that Google Sheet to see new inputs and stuff like that, and send out invoices. So next up, we're going to do an if node. This is a simple one. We're just going to go here. We're going to look up an if node, and boom, we're going to add the if node. Super simple. Leave it just like this. Value one is equal to value two, and we're going to type approved in both values. Make sure it's identical. I have the capital A. I'm talking syllable by syllable, letter by letter. It's got to be the exact same, or else it's not going to run. Basically, this is telling the Google Sheet to check for that approved column I showed you earlier, and to make sure it's actually approved, and therefore it'll run the rest of the workflow. If it's not approved, it's not going to run. We're already done here, so that's the second one done. Next, what we're going to do is add a code node. We're going to be using JavaScript the whole time. So we're going to do true, because if approved is true, we want the rest of the workflow to run. So we're going to do true here. We're going to look up code. Very simple. You can choose JavaScript or Python. Like I said, we're going to do JavaScript. We're going to keep everything the same here. Obviously, we're going to get rid of what we have in the node itself. And what I literally just did was copy and paste it from the old workflow into this workflow. Like I said, everything you need is going to be in the PDF below, all this information. Basically, what this code node is doing is it's scraping all that information from the Google Sheet. You can see here the number, date, customer name, email, phone, job address, job type, all that good stuff. It's scraping all that information so that it has it for the PDF to be able to generate with all the information required. So, like I said, I'm no professional. I don't know how to code and stuff, but using tools like Claude and ChatGPT, whatever it may be, you can kind of figure out how to do this stuff. So I would definitely leverage those in order to write the code correctly. And yeah, it's as simple as that. This is it. So we're gonna X out of here, and this is the entire code node. What I actually should have done from the get-go, I like to rename all the nodes. So I'm actually gonna do here, we're gonna do if approved and unsent. That way you know exactly what each node is doing, and it makes it nice and easy for you to follow along. And in this code node, we'll do generate invoice number. Okay, so those three are done now. On to the fourth. It's going to be another code node. So what we're going to do, like I said, same concept. We're going to go code, JavaScript. We'll name this one, let's call it build PDF HTML. Basically, what this is going to do is put together the HTML code for the PDF itself, which is all the information and the design, all that good stuff. So like I said, keep this stuff the same. It's nice and easy. That it's by default exactly what we need. Once again, we're going to clear out everything here in the code node. We got a fresh slate, and I'm literally copying pasting everything from the PDF down below because there's no way I could do this myself. I commend people who are able to, especially people who code and stuff before AI existed. You know what I mean? So, like I said, this stuff levels the playing field. Anybody can do it. So, here, it's basically got all the design elements, stuff like that. It's inputting the information. Like you can see here, invoice number, invoice title, the different parties involved, like the customer and the business, obviously. It's got margins, you know what I mean? It's got the body, like Arial font, sans serif, colors, background, it's stuff like that. So there's a lot going on here. We got almost 200 lines of code. It's quite a bit. But, like I said, everything's down below, just copy and paste it. This is gonna be a specific type of PDF. I'm gonna, as I showed you earlier, so you're gonna get exactly what I just, um, created. So I would obviously customize it depending on what you want. Like I said, you can talk to AI and say, I want it to be red, I wanna put my email, I wanna put, certain information, stuff like that. And obviously you can update the Google Sheet as well, depending on the information you want in the PDF. But for the sake of the example, we're gonna go with this. And yeah, that's the fourth node, all done. For the fifth node, we're gonna actually do a get HTTP request, meaning we're basically gonna sort of ping Doppio to tell it, okay, we need a PDF, right? So very simple, just type in HTTP, you'll see it here. It's like that. For the method, we're actually gonna change it to post instead of get. I'm gonna put in the URL required to ping Doppio. Once again, all in the PDF. This one's easy. You can literally just copy it from the screen here. It's pretty basic. Basically, this is telling Doppio, okay, we need to render a PDF. and the link kind of, bridges the gap, connects the two. So for authentication, obviously, we're gonna do generic credential type, and then we're gonna do header auth. As you can see here, I already have it selected. I've made another separate little video I'm about to play for you to get your Doppio credentials. This one's much easier than Google.
Yeah, like I said, this is pretty straightforward. What we're gonna do, we'll open up the node just to have it ready. Here in the name section, you're simply gonna type authorization, capital A, exactly how I did it. It's always gonna be that. In the value, we're gonna go to Doppio here. I'm gonna log in. The key with the Doppio API is that you have to type bearer space your API key. I'll put that on the screen so you get it exactly right. There on the left, you see API key, very straightforward. You're just going to copy that value. And like I said, bearer, capital B, space, the API key, and then you are good to go.
As you can see, relatively simple to set up Doppio with the credentials and stuff like that. Just remember things like authorization and put bearer before the API key, bearer space API key. That way you're set up accordingly. Doppio is really cool. It's completely free. You can make up to 400 PDFs on the free version, and then over that, obviously, there's a monthly subscription. The one thing we do need to update, we're not quite done with this node yet, is we're going to turn on send body. And then what I want to do here is we're going to go raw. The content type's going to be raw. It's going to be completely customized. We already built it in the previous code node, so we just need Doppio to take that information and use it to actually build the PDF. So here we're going to type in application slash JSON, and then in the body, literally just copying and pasting from the PDF. Don't worry about that error. We're gonna clean it up. It should run just fine. It's just a matter of the fact that we haven't ran it yet. And then finally, we're gonna add an option here. We're gonna go response. Then we want to do file, and we're simply gonna have data here. It already automatically populated it. So simple as that. Like I said, get your credentials, very easy. Send body. The body content type is raw. Application slash JSON, and then grab that little body code from the PDF. And then you're going to set one option. It's going to be response. Response format is file, and then data. So that's it for this node. We're all set here. So we're 5 down, 4 to go. Next one is very simple. It's going to be another code node. It's much shorter. So we're going to do the same exact thing. We're doing JavaScript again. Like I said, keep everything. We're going to clear this out. And what I'm going to do is paste in the code from the PDF. And that's that. Simple as that. So, and then actually what we'll do is, so we've got 6 nodes now. The PDF is all done. It's all generated. Now what we need to do is send it via email. So this is kind of actually an extra step. You don't even have to do this per se. As a matter of fact, so actually this is a really good example of a workflow erroring out, and this is something I'm glad happened actually, so I can show you guys how to fix it. The issue I made was that I literally copy and pasted the little piece of code here in body from my previous workflow, but the node I'm referencing in this code is named differently. So you can see build invoice HTML, that's the name of the old node, but this time around we named it build PDF HTML. So the issue here, simply put, and this is good for you guys to reference in case you change the name of your nodes. We simply put build PDF HTML, and you can see it pops up green. So the reason I ran it is because I wanted to show you that you don't even need to send it to Gmail, and I'll show you why. So basically, once Doppio runs, you can download the PDF right here, right? So you could just have it end at Doppio basically as the final node if you just want to download it and look at it yourself and send it manually. I'm going to go through the entirety of the workflow just so you see what it looks like when it's sent via Gmail because I think that's super cool. And then obviously we update the Google Sheet as well. So the next step, obviously, we're going to go Gmail. We're going to do 2 nodes. This one's pretty straightforward. This is going to be send. Where am I looking here? Send a message. There we go. So we're going to send a message. You see the PDF you're waiting. Another video I'm about to attach shows you how to get your Gmail credentials. It's similar to the Google Sheet one. It's basically the same thing, actually. I think you use the same client ID, same client secret. You just have to enable the Gmail API in the Google Cloud Console.
So the Gmail one is pretty straightforward. You already did pretty much all the heavy lifting when you made the credential for the Google Sheet. You're going to need an ID and secret again. So we're going to go back to that Google Cloud Console. We should already have a project, so we're done with that part. Similar to the Drive and the Sheets, there's a Gmail API that you need to enable. So as you can see, I'm looking up Gmail there. You find it, you enable it. I already had it enabled in this case. So that's what it looks like when you're all done. And then same deal, you're going to go to your credentials, and you already have your ID there. It should honestly be straightforward. It might be the same ID and secret, to be honest with you. And then, like I said, you go back, paste everything in. It should be honestly the exact same, and then you're pretty much good to go for Gmail. And then yeah, like I said, you just copy the values. You're gonna sign in with Google here. Choose the account that you're using for the Google Cloud Console. You're gonna say allow to all that, and you're good.
Okay, so once you've done that, you've got your Gmail credential set up. You can name them whatever you want. I'm actually going to name this, let's say, send PDF to customer, just so we know exactly which Gmail node is doing what. These three are good: credential, resource, operation. They're all good to go. What we're going to do here is we're going to copy and paste in this little piece of code here. Basically, what this is doing is it's pulling the email in the Google Sheet and it's sending the PDF to that email, right? So this is obviously going to vary on a customer by customer basis, row by row basis in the Google Sheet. So it needs to actually pull every individual email depending on obviously who you're sending the invoice or PDF to. For the subject, what I decided to do was it's also automated. You could literally just type in, like, for example, there you see hello world and it'll send exactly that. But I put in a little code here. Basically what it does is it pulls the invoice number and then it puts dash Luda AI from us, for example, right? It could say anything. It could say, Luda plumbing, whatever it may be. So and you see it right there as an example, right? This is exactly what we're going to get. This is what we got in the example I just showed you right here, right? So pretty straightforward. It's simple as that for the subject. For the email type, we're going to stick with HTML. We're actually going to do expression here. And then what I'll do is I'll open this up. It's basically a mini code node within the Gmail. So what we're going to do is kind of format the email the way we want it to look. So literally what I did, similar thing as the code nodes, just copy and pasted the code into this expression. It's a pretty straightforward, similar situation. You see the font family up here with margins, colors, backgrounds, all that good stuff, just formatting everything. And then obviously the copy here, you can change this however you'd like. All this stuff, like I said in the PDF below, you just copy and paste it and customize it as you wish. And then obviously we got the payment is due upon completion, all that good stuff, and a sign off, right? So really cool. This is the send invoice to customer or send PDF to customer Gmail node. One thing we are going to do is we're going to add an option. We're going to go add option. We're going to do attachments, and then we're going to add an attachment, and it's going to be data once again. So that's everything for this node. It's going to send off the email to whatever emails in the Google Sheet with the custom invoice number and the business, and then obviously the HTML email that we put together. Next node, same thing. We're going to do another Gmail node. It's going to be the exact same type. Gmail, we're going to send a message. And then what we'll do here is we'll name it notify owner because that's kind of what the objective is of this node. Same deal, same credentials. You already set it up, so it's good to go. We're going to do a message again. We're going to send. Here, what I would do, more likely than not, you're probably going to send it to the same email every time, the owner of the business, whatever it may be. So what I'm going to do, what I like to do here is I'll just input an email manually and put in my business email just for the sake of the video. In the subject here, what I did was I just put a little checkbox invoice sent, and then it has the customer name and all that stuff, so the owner knows exactly who the invoice was sent to. Email type is going to be the same exact thing. We're going to do HTML and expression again. So we're going to open this up. Like I said, it's kind of a mini code node. You can see it's in JavaScript. So we'll copy and paste in the copy that I put in the description, like I said, in the PDF. Similar thing, it's got similar font, layout, colors, all that good stuff. Obviously, the copy is a little different, right? So what do we say here? Yeah, invoice sent successfully, all that good stuff. What else do we got? Obviously the layouts, the borders, the margins, all that good stuff, kind of make it look a little fancy. And yeah, this is an automated message sent from your Luda AI invoice system, whenever it is. And yeah, it's as simple as that. Like I said, all this, code and all that good stuff's in the PDF for you to copy and, like I said, customize at your will. And that's pretty much it. I mean, that's the entirety of the workflow. There's one more node we're gonna put together to top it off, and it's just gonna be simply to update the Google Sheet. We're gonna do Google Sheet here, and we're gonna do append or update row in the sheet because that's exactly what we're doing. We're updating the row. I'm just gonna say update sheet. We'll call it PDF sent. Once again, you've already got your credentials for the Google Sheets. You're already all set here, which is nice. We're gonna do the same thing. We're going to append or update the same exact sheet. So I'm just gonna pick it from here, the invoice generation with the info. You've got all the columns here. It's gonna automatically generate. What you'll ask or what you'll have n8n do is map each column manually, and then you'll kind of decide what to select out of these, which ones you want mapped manually or not at all. We don't need any of this mapped. I will say column to match on is important because it tells n8n exactly what column needs to be updated. What I like to select here is customer email because let's say, for example, you pick customer, let's say you pick quote date, right? That's a good example. If I send 5 quotes on, let's say, July 12th, it's not gonna know which one to pick because all of them say the same exact thing. So you want a value that's gonna be unique, right? You could do phone numbers. The problem with phone numbers is that they're formatted weirdly, and then it might not pick up exactly what it's looking for. The emails are much simpler, right? You just type them in and that's that. And everybody's got a different email, right? So the one thing obviously that might be a challenge is if you have a customer, a recurring customer, and they have the same email in the Google Sheet multiple times, that might cause issues. But customer email is the safest column to match on. It's just going to make life easier, and then it's going to know exactly which rows to populate, uh, with the invoice number and stuff like that. So we're going to do that. What I'm going to do is delete literally everything except for the invoice number because that's the only thing that actually has to be updated. Actually, I'm sorry. We're going to keep the status too, but for the status, it's very simple. We're going to just type sent. So approved is going to change to sent once the workflow runs. For customer email, what we're going to do is we're going to populate it this way. It's going to look way back in that Google Sheets trigger for the exact customer email that needs to be updated. And then for the invoice number, it's going to be a similar layout to the customer email code, but instead we're going to ping the generate invoice number code node for the number that was generated by it, right? So that way it updates the Google Sheet with exactly the correct invoice number. And that's everything. Simple as that. So this is the workflow end to end, completely completed. So what I'm going to do is test it out. We're going to see how it works. Hopefully it does. It's not always a guarantee. There's always going to be things you have to fix with this stuff, little, you know, um, kinks in the armor, I guess, whatever you want to call it. So we'll try it out. This is fresh attempt. I haven't, messed with it or anything, so we'll see what happens. It might work, it might not. It's typically how these things go, but we'll debug together if need be. So let's see, we're gonna trigger it. Doppio is gonna make the PDF. Ran fast. All the information in the description below in the PDF for the code and stuff like that. It's gonna make life a lot easier, guys. This stuff can be tedious. I definitely hit a few bumps in the road while building it. You're always gonna find that guys use Claude, use ChatGPT, debug with it side by side. It's really not super difficult. You do have to be a little resilient in order to figure it out, but you can build some really cool stuff if you have that conviction to kind of fight through those challenges a little bit. Like I said, even in the midst of building this for a second time for the video, I ran into some errors. I might actually make a separate video talking about how to debug and do stuff like that with Claude and whatnot. So if you enjoyed, drop a like. If you're interested in building something like this, feel free to drop a comment and we can talk about it. I love doing stuff like this. So let me know what you guys think. If there's any other requests for videos you guys might have, obviously let us know and we'll get to work. So thank you again. Hope you enjoyed and learned something, and we'll see you in the next one.